Saratoga Park. We're ready for our 6-furlong single-turn 2-year-old.
Live from the backstretch at historic Saratoga Race Course, this is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow. Racing Across America is brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. When you can't make it to the track, make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.
Well, good morning. Here we are. It's not a beautiful morning, but it's a beautiful morning because we're at Saratoga in front of Clare Court, kicking off our Belmont Stakes Week coverage. A couple of shakeout days today and tomorrow. I was actually up here and did some cut-ins during the afternoon yesterday, but this is the official, the official unofficial, as they say. We don't really get cooking until Wednesday with the first day of the Belmont Stakes Week, but we put the equipment in earlier this week, and we're already kind of shaking things out. And so far, so good. But the game plan is just to make sure everything's up and running today. And we're going to take you through a Racing Across America today and tomorrow. And today, a little bit later on, we'll talk. We have an event coming up downtown Tuesday, Universal Preservation Hall, Embrace the Belmont. I'm on the handicapping panel along with Matt DeSantis and Sarah Elbadway from NYRA. Donna Brothers will MC. So we'll talk a little bit about that later and more. But we'll kick things off. Who better to talk to as we head into Belmont Week than our friend Mike MacAdam from the Daily Gazette. If you follow Saratoga Racing, certainly you read Mike in the Gazette. He'll be here covering, obviously, Belmont and Belmont Stakes Week action. And then, of course, once the traditional Saratoga meet starts as well. Mike, good morning.
Morning, Seth, and welcome to beautiful Saratoga Race Course. We got to put on our best Chamber of Commerce faces with this rain today. I was telling you before, I finally got the cake mud off of my hiking shoes from the Kentucky Derby at Churchill, and just put a fresh coat walking around the backstretch today. So we'll have to work on that again.
Breezy, cool, and it's coming down. And I will say it just started coming down this heavily. When I drove in, I didn't really have much going on, but we'll keep our fingers crossed as far as obviously the coming week for sure. I talked to you, you're out here in the mornings. If people follow your Twitter, you have, picked up over the last couple of weeks some of the action out here. You said with the rain this morning, there wasn't much going on. Yeah,
it was kind of a ghost town back there. A couple horses got out there for easy gallops. I was talking to Safi Joseph, who has White Abarrio coming up in the Met Mile next Saturday. He breezed him on Thursday for two reasons: anticipation of the weather this weekend, but also that was the same work pattern that he used going into the Pegasus World Cup. So he wanted to kind of maintain that same schedule. So we'll come back tomorrow and try to get some photos of him when he's on the track galloping again, but he's raring to go.
Before we get into some thoughts, Belmont Stakes Week and whatnot, there was a couple of news stories coming out. One, a really nice story, one, a very sad story about a week ago. And I saw you wrote about Christophe Clement. And I was on with Steve Bick yesterday, and he asked me my thoughts. And I never got Christophe back here. I tried a couple of times, and not that he had any aversion to it, just I couldn't get him those couple of times. I talked to him plenty after stakes action in the winner's circle and got some quick interviews there. And, I was always impressed with him, his horsemanship, and, boy, the outpouring on social media since he passed away last week at age 59, much too soon. But as I said, you wrote about him, and you the print guys have maybe a little bit of a different relationship, as you already alluded to. You're bouncing around the backstretch, so your memories of Christophe Clement.
Yeah, all the nice things that were said about him were fully warranted. One of the quotes that I always go back to that kind of illustrates what he's about and how he kind of loved life and loved the moment was every time he won a stakes race, we would talk to him in the winner's circle, and inevitably somebody would ask, okay, so what's next for this horse? And he would always deflect the question by saying, we're going to enjoy this one first. So I think kind of a little small snippet kind of indicated what he was about. Wonderful horseman, old school. I mean, go back and look for how many times he's gotten in trouble for things, and it's probably zero. Just does everything that, the right way and the traditional way. Good guy, interesting person to talk to. and had some terrific horses like Gioponte, of course, and
Belmont Stakes Tonalist.
Tonalist, who I picked, by the way,
Yeah, nice.
which I spare no opportunity to bring up. But yeah, and Tonalist, I was telling somebody the other day, that's another Christophe Clement thing, because I remember talking to him the day after the Belmont and asking him, a lot of people are calling you guys the villain because you ruined California Chrome's Triple Crown bid. And he said, hey, my owner runs his horses in New York. There's nothing bigger to him than winning the Belmont. So that's fine if people want to say that. But this means a lot to us and my clients, because they're New York people and they want to win big races in New York. And this is the biggest one that they could possibly win. So.
And as I said, it was very sad news about a week ago, the news of his passing, because it was literally within a week or a week and a half that they'd won a race down in New York, and Maggie had interviewed him. And so it was just sad news. But I will also say, if people haven't read it, go out and find it. You can find it on Twitter. Some of the publications publish it. But it was kind of classy that he took the time before he passed away to write kind of a final note that, again, summed up his career and his thoughts, and thanked his family and all the folks he worked with. It kind of summed up. He was a classy guy.
I mean, I wasn't that close to him or anything, but I think it's worth noting that, he let the news. I didn't even know he was sick, first of all. And he put the news out there himself in a, postmortem posthumous tweet, saying, if you're reading this, I got bad news for you, which was, again, back to how classy he is to take everybody else's feelings into consideration and do it that way, instead of having people, fret over him and know that he's sick. Obviously, his close family knew everything, but I'm not kidding. I didn't know he was sick until I saw the tweet.
Yeah, I gotten wind of it a few months ago, but I think it was a surprise to a lot of people. Again, sad news. And he will certainly be missed as a New York fixture, certainly over the years. All right, I said there was some sad news, but then there was also some good news. Breeders' Cup coming back to New York, down at the new Belmont in 2027.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time.
2005 was the last time it was in any track. They actually ran the second one in 1985 at Aqueduct, if you can believe that, which, of course, is a million years ago. I think Belmont had it 4 or 5, at least 4 times, maybe 5 times. The last time was 2005. When they first started the Breeders' Cup, the idea was that they were going to rotate it pretty regularly all over the country, just to kind of showcase different tracks. So Lone Star had it one year, Monmouth had it one year, Gulfstream had it, New York had it a few times, and it was in the regular rotation in the early 2000s. And then it got away, and then it's been in California, Kentucky pretty much consistently. Exclusively.
Infamously at Arlington with the pick six.
Yeah, right. But 2027, by then, Belmont Park will be ready for its close-up. For all practical purposes, they could hold the Belmont Stakes down there next year, but it's not the Belmont Park. The whole facility is not going to be 100% complete until September of next year. So they haven't made any official announcement or anything, but you can book it. It'll be back at Saratoga next year. I don't think they want to put their new facility on display, especially for their biggest race, unless it's like everything is 100% complete. So you can bet on that. But Breeders' Cup in 2027, that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that. Belmont is ready for its close-up, Mr. DeMille. So 2027. Next year, Keeneland. 2026, Keeneland. Yep. So a couple of new venues after having been in California for a while, but getting back to New York, which is appropriate. I mean, as important as the New York racing jurisdiction is to horse racing, it should have it should be certainly in some kind of a rotation. I think now with the new Belmont, it probably will be a regular.
It's good for the Breeders' Cup too. I think it works both ways because they get to showcase this new place and it's going to be, of course, state of the art. Everything's going to be top notch, first class, and it works. It's a win-win for all parties.
Somebody made the good point that also being on the East Coast, we'll have the Breeders' Cup Classic as the last race appropriately.
Right. There's no lights there, so fortunately, I should be able to make deadline no problem.
Yeah, there you go. All right, let's get to what's coming up here. And I didn't talk to you after the Preakness. We talked to you after the Derby. You were down there. Yep. But you were also down at the Preakness. We caught up with Tim Wilkin last week, who I pulled up a picture from his Twitter feed. Man, there was the crew down there. He took a picture in the press box with Joni Lawrence. Rhonda Norby was there. The crew from
that's the notes team.
That
wasn't the
because Mike Kane was part of it. Yeah, so it was all. You're right. It was all the notes people because Dave Joseph was there.
They snuck Ronnie Nicoletti in there too.
Yeah. Nicoletti was and Phil Janacco.
And those guys are really tight. It's a fun crew, and they're all friends, and they do tremendous work at the Preakness. I really can't say enough about how good they are, and the stuff they put out is terrific.
Yeah, and if people aren't familiar, the notes team at any track on any big day, it's just people kind of working for the track and working the backstretch and getting post-race quotes and putting out their own track press releases, essentially,
right.
and that's what.
And I'm by myself. Yeah, I can't be everywhere, so you really lean on. If you're just pulling one quote from one of the undercard stakes, boom, they'll get it. They'll give it to you very quickly. It'll be good stuff. And
also, a lot of times they'll go. And if there's a big beaten favorite, they'll get a quote there. So you may be on the winner's circle talking to the winner, but you can pull up the.
Fortunately, like when I go down to the Preakness and the Derby, I'm writing a column to supplement like the wire recap, just the gamer basically. So I don't have to get everybody. I can kind of do what I want and play it by feel a little bit. So I do have some latitude there where I can kind of just come up with an idea that's different from what the main lead would be, and we'll use the Associated Press recap story. So that's kind of a fun, cool way to do it.
But you did get a mention from Tim. He mentioned you and Gene being down there, but you were down there. First, before we get to the race itself, talk a little bit about, because I found it funny for years and years, people like, Pimlico, oh man, Pimlico is really, it needs an upgrade and whatnot. And then last week when folks realized it was the last Preakness at the current Pimlico, man, the sentimentality came out.
I got to admit, I was one of them too.
I totally get it.
I wrote a column and I did mention like all the. I know it's like punching down, but there's so many. If you ever walked around there, like for instance, you go up this one escalator and there's just this hole punched in the wall, and then you go up like another 5 feet and you can see on the top of this dusty, huge air duct, there's like some crumbled ceiling tiles like you have in your basement, just kind of laying there in a pile. There's just like junky little thing like. Indications of how decrepit the place is, and I love Pimlico, so I'm, it's still punching down a little bit. I think I led in my column the fact that the state colors in Maryland are red, black, and yellow, which are the same colors as the careful wet floor signs that are like everywhere. So yeah, I mean Pimlico's easy to rip and rightfully so, but yeah, you did have a little twinge of sentimentality just walking around because you're never going to see it again. Yeah. Next time you're there, it's going to be gone goodbye. I mean, we're going to be at Laurel Park next year, and God willing, Maryland finances and everything, stays the way it's supposed to be. We won't have to go to Laurel Park again. But I'm not going to say I shed a tear or anything like that, but I did take a little personal tour just to kind of get some mental snapshots.
I've never been, so I kind of regret now that I won't get a chance. But, hopefully it's ready for its close-up in 2027, right. The new Pimlico. And Dave Grenick appropriately tweeted out the shot of the elevator. And the Monday after, he was headed out in the elevator with
which
out
one,
of order.
Outdoor one?
The indoor one,
Okay, the indoor one has not worked in at least 3 years, and it's the only way to get to the press box unless you use the stairs, which is on the 4th floor. And I also noted in my column that one of the really nice like professional touches at Pimlico this year was the elevator out of order. They had like a fresh sign on the elevator doors. It was really classy and professional job to let you know that. But the thing outside is like this erector set construction site thing that goes, and it takes about 10 minutes to get to the 4th floor. It's so slow, and it's open air. And I know there's several of my colleagues like just refuse to use it. I took it a couple times, and it lets you off on the roof of Pimlico, and you have to walk across the roof to this door to get to the hallway to get to the press box. I think they put it in more for the TV crew so they didn't have to lug all their stuff up to the roof. But I rode that Tower of Terror, I guess, a couple times. Yeah, it's fun. You get a good view of the barns.
There are all stories, too, from media people getting stuck in the elevator. But as I say, and I get it, the sentimentality came out last weekend.
That could happen anywhere. I got stuck in the elevator over here a couple of years ago for about a minute.
I will say, when you talk about slow, that elevator at Woodbine First, you have to wait for it to get there, and then so
Yeah.
you're up in the press box, up a few floors, and you got to get down to the winner's circle. You're like,
Right.
take out the sand dial and get ready. All right, now let's get to the race. And I think we have a little replay of the stretch action. Talked, as I say, to Tim last week, and
Yep.
he was saying, there was a little discussion, obviously, and discussion not just amongst the fans, but as the press as well as journalism gets into a little jam. I will say, top of the stretch, I thought he was done as Gosker pulls away before the bumping happened. Once the bumping happened, I said, he doesn't stand a chance. Then he breaks through and runs down Gosker. It was an incredible performance. What were your thoughts on the Preakness?
All right. So Gene Kirshner and I were watching the race from the rail near the finish, up the track a little bit from the finish line. I had picked journalism, so I was trying to keep an eye on him, which is hard when you're there. So you got to watch the video board. So I was tracking him all the way around the turn. And then I heard Gene blurt out, this horse is going to win, meaning Gosker. So he was watching Gosker, but I was watching journalism on the video board. And when goal-oriented, like head gets twisted out like that, I could see. And I was like, oh, my God, something really bad is going to happen here. I don't know how journalism got through there. I don't know how, somebody didn't go down. It looked that bad. I was scared. But then when the horse comes roaring down the stretch after he got in the clear, you're like, okay, we are watching a magnificent performance here. And I immediately harkened back to Fleet Alex. Not exactly the same circumstances, but the athleticism of the horse to kind of overcome, a physical issue, like a real, getting, that was a heel clipping situation. This was different where he just kind of bullied his way through a tight hole. But my first thought was, from having seen it, was this is just like the Fleet Alex.
Yeah.
So I made that comparison.
It was, from all my years of watching horse racing, it ranks as one of, if not the most incredible performance, given the trouble. And a lot of people compared it to a Fleet Alex. And so I went back and pulled that up on YouTube.
I did too.
And that was incredible too. But he clips heels, and he's still a length away. So he was right there, whereas journalism has to make up what looks like an insurmountable lead. And so to me, that the journalism one was more of an incredible kind of a performance. And it's going to be very interesting to see now coming out of that. We all have our fingers crossed, and I'll ask if you agree, because I've been saying it for a couple of weeks now. Short of a Triple Crown, if we get the rematch, Sovereignty and Journalism, after the nice Derby win by Sovereignty, I liked him a lot going into Derby. He came through. Journalism with that incredible performance a couple of weeks ago. I think, as I say, short of a Triple Crown, we couldn't ask for a better situation.
This is the next best thing, because you're creating a rivalry. There's like this extra story component to it that is going to get everybody engaged. Journalism is the only horse that will have run in all three legs of the Triple Crown, knock on wood, that he actually does enter on Monday. But yeah, it's the next best thing. It's great. And I've been to the Belmont enough times where a Triple Crown was on the line, and you can't really compare it to anything. But if both of those horses are in there and you throw Baeza in there, don't sleep on him. Yeah. Could be a short field, but like all the right horses are, it looks like they'll be there.
And I've said, sporting events of all kinds, not just horse racing, often do not live up to the hype. But when they do, last year's Travers, Torpedo Inn and Fierceness, and they're coming down the stretch and the crowd is on their feet. That's what I'm hoping for. We still don't know if journalism is going to go.
Right.
We'll know in the next couple of days, I would assume. But if he shows up and they turn for home and they're right, the place will go bonkers.
Yeah, and we're going to be over there tomorrow morning to see if he. I don't know what his breeze schedule, but it seems like tomorrow makes a lot of sense. They're not going to wait until Monday, I don't think. They can't do anything today, even though he did get out there to gallop on the main track when it wasn't raining. Yeah, it just started raining harder.
Speak up a little bit. I can't hear you.
But this time tomorrow, it should be okay. So I'm kind of expecting him to breeze, and we'll be there to watch it. We'll see what Sovereignty does too. But man, they're clearly the two best horses in the division. It's not like a manufactured rivalry where like Mind That Bird won the Derby at 80-1, and then comes back, and there's a good horse in there that they're going to butt heads, and it's not the same as that. These are clearly the two best horses in the division, and if they duke it out, it'll be a heavyweight fight with some other really good horses in there as well.
And that's a great point. Last year, Mr. Dan sees the gray. I don't think you had the same feeling.
No.
To me, last year, I've said it a bunch of times, I thought the 3-year-olds, until we got to maybe mid-late summer, were really undefined last year. This year, I think, as you say, Journalism and Sovereignty are legit, and they're clearly at the top of the class. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I went to your Twitter feed and pulled up. These were videos from a week ago. But you had Sovereignty and Arthur's Ride. You had a little video there.
Yep.
And then on the main track, I believe it was Journalism out there. Here's Sovereignty and Arthur's Ride. So you've been here again in the mornings and watching some of these horses. Just give us some impressions of what you've seen so far.
Well, Journalism is as advertised. I remember going into the Derby, watching the morning workout shows like that whole week, and they were just gushing about him. His physical makeup and how they were calling him King Kong. He's just very powerful looking animal. And that surely was evident, even though he was just galloping there. That was funny. Somebody tweeted about Sovereignty and Arthur's Ride. It was Spa Infield Goose. We'll give a shout out to them. Said which one, because I didn't identify which was which. And they kind of tongue in cheek said, which one's which? And I said, Arthur's Ride is the one that you can see from Mars, or on satellite or something. So, but they look pretty good. Sovereignty looks, he's checking all the boxes. I guess Bill Mott's really happy with what he's doing so far. So, and he's in. They've been waiting for this one, and then it's just a matter of let's get Journalism there too, to really spice it up.
You said, I believe, Mike McCarthy's in town already, right?
Yeah, I think he got here yesterday or 2 days ago. I believe. I didn't see him back there today. I didn't really see much of anybody back there today. But we'll go see if he's around tomorrow.
And again, we have our fingers crossed. We'll know in the next couple of days. They'll obviously have to make the decision. The draw comes up the beginning of the week. So we'll, as I say, we will know sooner rather than later, and we have our fingers crossed. But also, I will note, you mentioned White Avario earlier.
Yep.
The undercard's looking very good. The Met Mile is looking fabulous.
It's Met Mile. It seems like every year it's ridiculous, and there's some years where it actually, in a way, overshadows the Belmont itself because just the quality in there. I think we were talking about this a week or so ago, where last year the older male dirt division just didn't really get the juices flowing at all. This year, though, it could be pretty intense with Mindframe and Fierceness. I saw Fierceness break a track record. Mindframe won his stakes race, and they're both supposed to be in the Met Mile, taking on White Avario, who, I was talking to Safi Joseph this morning. I asked him, what is the distance question? How big of a question mark is that? And he said, yeah, I know he's 1 for 4, but if he's right, I don't care about the distance, and he's right right now. So, so he's apparently not worried about the distance at all.
Yeah, and this handicap division is very special this year. Again, after kind of a lackluster 2024. But those aforementioned 3-year-olds, as we got to the end of the year last year, but more importantly, when the calendar turned and they became 4-year-olds this year, man, they have stepped up.
A lot of them hung around, which is what you need. You need those good 3-year-olds to come back and run, not just in the Pegasus World Cup and then retire. And we certainly, that is the case this year. So, so that's, something to look forward to.
Absolutely. Mike, before we let you go, just give us a little update on what's going to come up Belmont Stakes Week in the Gazette.
My head is swimming just thinking about it. I can tell you right now, today, I'll have an overview for the A section. I got a back page story. I got to figure out what to do with that still. I don't mean to think out loud here, but Mystic Dan is running today, so I might just do a little bit of rewrite on that. He's running in the Blame at Churchill.
Off a redemption try at Oaklawn in the latest
back
effort.
To that older division where he just had a great duel with Saudi Crown in that little stakes race they ran, and it was on Derby Day or Preakness Day.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And then heading into the week, we'll have a bunch of preview stuff. I'll have a column. We'll have a bunch of stuff. We'll have a draw story Monday for Tuesday. We'll have some recap on, particularly on Belmont Day Saturday. and Friday as well, because we got the Ogden Phipps and a couple other big races that day. Acorn. So we'll have some recap stuff, but we'll have a lot of advanced stuff. We'll have our handicappers. We'll be picking, our little mini army of handicappers that are going to be busy, burning the midnight hour trying to make heads and tails out of these cards. So on a daily basis, there's going to be some good stuff in there, I can tell you.
Burning the midnight oil and burning the oil all day. But I think, isn't it, first post Belmont Day is like 10:30 and last post is about 8 o'clock.
Yeah. These are long days. And like, for instance, the Preakness, where I only have to do one thing, write a column. This happens all the time at these big events. You get there at like 9 o'clock in the morning at the latest to make sure you get a parking spot. And then your brain goes to mush for like 8 hours. And then all of a sudden the light bulb has to go on and you got to be like on your game and alert and come up with an idea. And it doesn't always happen. But Belmont Day, we'll be doing stuff all day and tweeting and, social media. And
I am often, not to brag, it's just I have things to do for TV, but I'm often one of the last people in the press box up here, unless it's a big day. And then you guys are all deadline, stakes, and the stake is late in the card, late in the day.
I know where the light switch is, put it that
way. Mike, appreciate it. Good luck over the next week or so. And I know I don't have to wish you good luck. It's always a great job in the Daily Gazette. And then things will calm down briefly, back for July 4th weekend, which is still technically Belmont at Saratoga. And then traditional meet coverage regularly. You do a great job.
Thank you.
Each and every day. And I tell people to check you out in the Gazette. So we appreciate it. Obviously, you'll be back multiple times. And how about the tweet I sent out that you replied to? Because we always mention our closing night haunt, Desperate Annie's. We always have to give them a shout out. It's been a haunt for me for years and years, although I have kind of aged out of being a regular here. So
I think we dropped the ball the last time I was on. We didn't mention that.
That's
I've
right.
felt bad about it ever since. So,
but we made up for it with a little back and forth because one of the local magazines, Saratoga Living, did a best of and added best dive bar category this year. Desperate Annie's.
It kills us. Now we're going to go there. And it's going to be a crowd. We're not going to be able to get a stool at the bar.
That's what
are these people doing to us?
And it's for us. Monday, Labor Day, we have traditionally now for I don't know how many years done a little
before pandemic, at
least
a
little
10 years.
Trip to done a little
That's
trip downtown. And
we solve all the problems of the world in there.
When we originally did it, it was pretty much you and I and the two bartenders at Desperate Annie's. And even now, even before they got the award, they had added an alternative music night, which we make a brief stop now.
They're killing us.
And then went down around the corner, 9 Maple. That was fun.
Last
year. That was Sean.
Chancellor McPatrick's owner was there.
McPatrick's owner, and
that was fun.
That was a fun night.
Only in Saratoga.
But yeah, I had to bring that up again as our haunt gets an award, best dive bar. I will recommend it because I'm friends with all the folks that run the place as well. All right, Mike, we appreciate it. As I say, we will talk again as the season progresses and whatnot. But appreciate the visit this morning. Stay dry.
All right. Thanks for having you guys.
Appreciate it. All right. We'll take a break. When we come back, again, nice event coming up Tuesday night. Little handicapping, looking at the Belmont. I'll be on the panel. We'll discuss that and more. Stay tuned.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
There's no better time to think DePaula and buy DePaula. Just visit, call, or click. Get no worry pricing and 000 savings on every new Chevy car, truck, and SUV. delivering value since 1980. DePaulachevrolet.com.
Welcome back. Again, we are live from Clare Court on a beautiful day. I said earlier, it's pouring, it's freezing, it's breezy, but we're at Saratoga. So come on, kicking things off Belmont week. So far, so good. And thanks to Mike MacAdam for swinging by. And now it's our friend Laura Simiele, who is going to talk a little bit about the Tuesday night event, Embrace the Belmont. She's one of the folks behind it, along with Donna Brothers and Rachel Dunn of Saratoga. Laura, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Seth. So we're so excited to bring Embrace the Belmont back for year 2 as we welcome the Belmont Stakes back to Saratoga here. We're excited to have you as one of the panelists again this year. And it's looking like it's going to form out to be a pretty interesting race for you guys to handicap as well. So the event itself, you guys should be seeing some information. We have Matt DeSantis, Sarah Elbadway on our panel this year. It's over at Universal Preservation Hall, Tuesday, June 3rd from 5:30 to 7:30. We're going to be running through, well, actually, you guys are going to be running through the Derby, the Peter Pan, and the Preakness, leading up to everything that's happening here. And we designed
Belmont. You said Preakness.
Oh, well, we're going to cover the Preakness, sorry. Leading up to the Belmont that's happening here. And it's really wonderful because we invite the Saratoga community and our business owners, as well as our horse fans, to come on out and enjoy you guys going through all those races.
You were right. We're going to look at the races leading into the Belmont, so we're going to cover all of that, the Belmont itself. And I will say, last year was the first year, and I wasn't skeptical. That's not the right word. I had no idea what to expect. Last year it was held right across the street at the Racing Museum. A raging success, standing room only, so a new venue this year.
Yes, so we had standing room only last year. A big thing to point out about this event, we are embracing the Belmont. We're talking all things racing. This is to benefit Therapeutic Horses of Saratoga. So leading to that standing room only, recognizing one of the phenomenal 501c3s in our community that is a wonderful location for our equine athletes post-racing career, or perhaps if racing was never the career they were destined for, to head over to Therapeutic Horses down on Route 29 and take part in what is sanctuary care for them, with the component of therapeutic services that are offered to residents and businesses within the Saratoga community and beyond, from veterans programs to things called horseplay, to working with survivors of all kinds, whether it be an illness or other things that happen in life, and really turning the eye on to how our horses help us and how they heal us through the work that the team at Therapeutic Horses of Saratoga does. So last year, like you said, standing room only. We went over to Universal Preservation Hall this year. We're looking forward to another packed room full of people. We encourage you all to get your tickets. Tickets are still available. Huge thank you to all of the sponsors that hopped back on board this year, as well as some new sponsors. You can head over to the Therapeutic Horses site to see those sponsors listed. And we're excited to have you come back into the fold. Welcome to new handicappers and hear how you guys are approaching the Belmont with hopefully a whole lot better weather than what's around us right now.
We have our fingers crossed, no question about it. And you can swing by the Therapeutic Horses website, thsaratoga.org. We may have a graphic there with the website. You can learn more about what they do, but also if you click on the events link at the top of the page, you can look at this event specifically, Embrace the Belmont, and get ticket information and whatnot. But it's Tuesday at 5:30, Universal Preservation Hall. If you're not familiar, right at block off Broadway. Yep. Very convenient.
Block off Broadway. And I would be remiss in not mentioning a couple of the other brains behind the operation, as you mentioned, Donna Brothers, phenomenal former jockey, current analyst. She's going to be emceeing again this year, doing that handicapping 101, how to read the form, how to break it down before you guys go into those race replays. Rachel Dunn of Saratoga Stable, bringing it all together. It's been a pleasure to work with this team, pleasure to work to benefit Therapeutic Horses with Kim Weir, Aaron Sisk, Meg over there as well. All just, again, to bring our community together as we really get ready for this fun event.
I mean, as I say, last year I had no idea what to expect as far as the audience, but I should have known better because it's been now, probably at least 2 months. I'm in the supermarket. I'm at Stewart's getting gas. People that I I do not know them, but they know me from television. It's like, you ready? You ready? You ready? And so this community is just so geared into typically opening day for the traditional meet, but last year and this year we get some bonus Saratoga, and people have been just chomping at the bit, as it were. And as I say, last year it was a full house, and this year moved to a bigger venue. And there'll be some refreshments. And
so we have the Adelphi Hotel is catering for us for some refreshments and light bites. And we have Franklin Square Market providing some dessert bites for us as well. So lots of good little things to snack on, some raffle prizes. There might be a little trivia mixed in there. So bring your thinking hats. We'll have a whole fun night. It is a shorter event, that 5:30 to 7:30. So we put a lot into those 2 hours, but it's a really fun time, and we're really proud to be part of kicking off the Belmont Festival.
Yeah, and hats off to you and the whole team, Donna and Rachel, because last year I got a lot of great feedback from it. People really enjoyed it. And again, a little bit bigger venue, more opportunity for folks to kind of hop in and enjoy the event coming up on Tuesday. Again, it's Tuesday. You can go to thsaratoga.org for more information. But Laura, while we have you here, folks may recognize you. I put a little video together from last year during a breakfast at Saratoga. I have to make clear, there is no breakfast here. Breakfast is traditionally one of the big things up here. There's no breakfast during the Belmont 5 days or that July 4th weekend. But once traditional Saratoga kicks off on July 10th, the breakfast will return. And again, since I had you here, I thought I'd let you talk a little bit about it because you're kind of the voice of breakfast, and great for the kids. And it's fun for the whole family actually to come out in the mornings, talk a little bit about breakfast, which again will kick off again July 10th.
I'm laughing as I see my co-host Alana there, my unofficial co-host for Breakfast at Saratoga. So Seth, as you mentioned, starting July 10th, we'll be opening up the season with that breakfast opportunity. It's a wonderful way to kick off the morning. Come take a look at the horses in training, learn about what that training looks like for them. We'll certainly point out key contenders that are out there, let you know when trainers are around. There's a breakfast down on the porch area that you can go, a full buffet breakfast. The kids can go right up to the rail, watch the horses go by. And then we're also excited to have Naira announced already that the breakfast and breeding tours are also starting back up.
Which has become wildly popular.
Wildly popular. Please go to Naira.com and get your tickets and secure your spots for these breakfast and breeding tours as soon as possible if they are of interest to you. We have 3 farms participating again this year. Song Hill Thoroughbreds, owned and operated by the Bonds. Old Tavern Farm, owned and operated by the Barisnocks. And Sugar Plum Farm, owned and operated by the Malatino family. All 3 families, business entities, truly rooted in our industry from full to finish line and beyond. And it really gives the patrons and the fans a way to go experience every part of our equine athlete's life cycle. So hop on to Naira.com and do make sure you secure those spots. Breakfast downstairs, no reservations necessary. Come on in, grab a seat on the porch. I float between box C27 and that porch area. I'm usually the one walking around with a microphone. So if you find me and you have questions, always feel free to come on over. Kids that want to jump on like Alana and co-host, always more than welcome. We're excited to bring in that next generation of fans and continue to inspire the fans that have been with us for a long time.
And again, understandably, with everything going on in early post times and whatnot, no breakfast Belmont week or that July 4th week, but it'll kick back off July 10th with traditional Saratoga. And Breakfast with Saratoga is a traditional event, certainly, and looking forward to it again this year. The breeding tour. I had Jim and Tina Bond on first year the breeding tour, and they were both shocked at the response and thrilled that the folks coming out to the farm to look at the breeding operation.
It's so amazing. For anyone who hasn't taken advantage of this, I really can't stress it enough. As someone who's had the privilege of growing up, being able to watch a foal come into the world and compete at this track and at other tracks at the highest level of racing, that process is something truly miraculous. And so these tours allow you to see that moment where the mare and foal or the mama and baby are still together running around in the field. And who knows, stay tuned, because 2 to 3 years later, you might be watching them, rooting for them right here at Saratoga. And it's really just a fun experience. So, and like you said, Seth, the response to it, I mean, they sell out so quickly. It's really wonderful. Yeah,
it's been a great addition to the whole breakfast Saratoga scene.
Absolutely.
Certainly. Laura, I'll let you go. Oh, before I let you go, I must say, typically I see your mother sometimes, you and your mom out at events or whatnot, get to say hello a lot during the racing season. But a few months ago, we're down at the Florida Derby. I'm in the winner's circle, typically getting interviews and whatnot. Who's in the photo? Laura. And I'm like, what the heck?
Seth, I'm everywhere and nowhere. No, so I have phenomenal opportunities over the winter. In my professional life, I'm also working in the equine industry, which has provided me opportunities to continue to travel and be in other places. And as a personal owner and breeder, expanding our business model as well, we've looked into how to build those relationships in Florida and Kentucky. And so there's been a little bit of travel going on, but it's always great running into you no matter what state we're in. I am hoping I get an invite, though, to that Desperate Annie's haunt. This is the first I'm hearing of it.
Closing night's open to everybody.
Let's not wait till we're back in Florida to have to go to the bar that wins Dive Bar in the Florida magazine. Let's do it in our own Saratoga Living approved bar. But yeah, it's been a wonderful opportunity to be able to travel, enjoy racing. And you know what I can say? I was down there and I was watching Sovereignty in Florida. And so it's now a little bit extra special to be watching him here in New York.
Yeah, so, that was funny in the winner's circle. Hey, I know
you.
But yeah, closing night, you're invited. Anybody's invited. Closing Labor Day, mark that on your calendar, folks. Laura, appreciate it. And again, the event, Embrace the Belmont, comes up Tuesday, 5:30 to 7:30. I'll be on the panel. Matt DeSantis, Sarah El Bodway from NYRA, Donna Brothers will be hosting. Benefits Therapeutic Horses of Saratoga. You can find more information at their website, thsaratoga.org, for tickets and just general information. But we appreciate the visit this morning, and I'll see you Tuesday.
Sounds good. Thanks so much. We look forward to having you there.
All right. We're going to take another break. When we come back, we'll just do some news and notes. As Mike MacAdam alluded to, big day at Churchill today. We'll take a look at that. I also have today's Dark Horse Play of the Day. All of that when Racing Across America continues from Saratoga.
Sometimes it pays to go with the flow, to check your worries at the door, to reconnect with your crew, to follow the thrills and the flavor, to roll with it and see where it takes you, to enjoy every minute to its fullest, and to dance like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here at Rivers Casino and Resort Schenectady, where the good times flow.
Haven't signed up for a Capital OTB account yet? Now's the time to take advantage of the sign-up bonus. Open up a new account with $200 or more, bet $400 by the end of the month, and receive a bonus $200 into your account. Plus, you can take advantage of everything an OTB account has to offer: wagering from any device, live streaming, racing info, past performances, online promotions, and more. Sign up today and take advantage of the new account bonus. Details at capitalotb.com.
You like free money? Well, Capital OTB gives its players plenty of opportunities to cash in. At Capital OTB, there are so many ways for horse players to receive bonus dollars by simply participating in promotions such as our bankrolls, bounty bets, online handicapping contests, and much, much more. Plus, with Capital OTB's Player Rewards program, you get actual cash back. So what are you waiting for? Log on today at capitalotb.com or capitalotbbet.com and claim your free money.
Welcome back to Racing Across America on this rainy Saturday morning. But again, we're in Saratoga, so what could be better than that? Do want to alert you to some of the promotions that are coming up, because there is well, I'll start with today. Today there's a Fan Appreciation Day at the Queensbury branch. If you're a patron in that direction, swing by so we can say thank you to you for your patronage. Again, there's always food, PPs. There's a contest that's always a lot of fun. You can win a little extra something. That's this afternoon, the Queensbury branch Fan Appreciation Day. If you want to swing by the Clubhouse Racebook today, there's a King of the Hill contest, so maybe you win a little extra something at the Racebook. That is 711 Central Avenue in Albany. And do want to alert you, tomorrow, the Belmont Stakes Syndicate opens up. The syndicates are a lot of fun. You for a reasonable amount of money, $25, you put it in. The whole team puts that in. OTB puts in a little extra money, and so for just a nice $25, you get in on some whale-sized tickets that we have Pick 5 play put together. So again, the Belmont Stakes Syndicate opens tomorrow at capitalotb.com, and so keep that in mind. Also tomorrow we will be back on with another Racing Across America at 10 a.m., so mark that on your calendar as well. Mentioned it earlier, Breeders' Cup returns to New York in 2027. Some good news came out a couple of days ago. It was kind of anticipated, but given the schedule of the building of Belmont, it was kind of, when would it be? And with the Breeders' Cup, want to make sure everything was kosher before they jumped in. Well, by 2027, everything's going to be running smoothly. So Belmont will host Breeders' Cup, first time in, as Mike said, a long time, 20-some years to return to New York. But given how important New York racing is to racing in America, it's just appropriate that the Belmont hosts the Breeders' Cup. So 2027, 2026, it'll be at Keeneland. That was also announced this week as well. All right, let me hit on. Let me start with, I guess, with the dark horse play, because I did go to Keeneland, or I did go to Churchill today for the dark horse, and it's kind of a. I believe they were off the turf yesterday at Churchill, and when I looked at the forecast, there was the potential for a little bit of rain. So with the big day, hopefully they're still on the turf down at Churchill. But I have a dark horse play today that can go either way. So dark horse play of the day for this Saturday, brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile in downtown Saratoga, along with their sister store, Impressions of Saratoga, both on Broadway in downtown Saratoga. Stop by and say hello. But seventh race at Churchill is the play if they remain on the turf. It's the Audubon on a stakes-laden card. I thought, well, I'm going to take a look at some of the stakes action at Churchill for my dark horse. And I put Tomasello on top. I think it's a very competitive race. The morning line favorite is 3-1. And then a couple of 5-1s and a 9-2. So again, I think it lives up to the morning line being competitive race. But Tomasello is a Marquesi runner coming in off a couple of wins. Broke the maiden, went right through the first condition last time. Jose Ortiz was on board. Both of those he's on board again today. Probably has to step it up a little bit, probably. But not much, incrementally. And I think what we've seen the last couple of starts is a horse who has figured it out and maybe up to this, stakes debut today. So our dark horse play of the day, if we remain on the turf, is race number 7 at Churchill, the Audubon, number 1, Tomasello. Should it come off the turf, I went to another one of the stakes races today, race number 10, and used number 6, Hall of Fame. And it's the Blame, another one of the stakes races, grade 3 for the old. This is technically, I think they're calling it Stephen Foster Preview Day. I have Hall of Fame over Most Wanted, over Banishing, over Post Time. But I thought Hall of Fame had the potential of a series of triple-digit buyers, and Jose Ortiz on board, and at 8-1, Steve Asmussen runner, I thought stood a very good chance of running very well. And if that morning line holds up very well at a decent price. Now, Most Wanted is very dangerous, but as I understand, you can see in the racing form is cross-entered and may elect that spot. Banishing for David Jacobson is also interesting because he was thinking, do I go here? Do I go to the Met Mile? Or do I go to both of them? So Banishing may be interesting today and in a few days right up here in Saratoga. Post Time for Brittany Russell. She's done very well with this horse. He'll be interesting in here also. But again, Mystic Dan is also in up the good, as I said earlier, kind of redemption try for Kenny McPeak in the stake at Oaklawn, where he just missed the Saudi Crown. So I didn't know what to do with Mystic Dan. Now, Most Wanted and Banishing have the potential to maybe go in other spots. If one or the other of those move, Mystic Dan would get pulled into my mix. But again, should racing be off the turf in that 7th race, my dark horse play of the day will be in this 10th race, and it'll be number 6, Hall of Fame. So again, dark horse play of the day brought to you by our friends at the Dark Horse Mercantile and Impressions of Saratoga in downtown Saratoga. And I posted on Twitter through Memorial Day last week, the holiday, went 4 for 6 with the dark horse play the holiday week, winding up with a $19 winner on Memorial Day. And I tallied up the first 21 days. Folks at Dark Horse and Impressions are sponsoring the play through the Triple Crown. They'll be back for the traditional Saratoga season as well. But we started the Triple Crown season the Wednesday before the Derby, and we'll wind up the Dark Horse play, the Triple Crown season, the day after the Belmont. But Monday marked the first 21 days, and there were 9 winners in the first 21 days, couple seconds, couple thirds, a nice positive ROI of 108%. So it has been a very lucrative dark horse play so far. We came back this week on Thursday and missed by about that much. Now, that said, yesterday I took a shot with a 19-1 shot who had tossed in a real clunker in the debut. I thought the horse was set up to improve in the second start. And with the clunker in the debut, I thought we'd get a price. We did at 19-1, but did not lift the hoof. And was getting some class relief. There were some things to think, class relief and whatnot, that the horse would show a market improvement from the debut effort. Didn't happen, so I'm going to give up on that one. But we'll see what we can do today to keep things going with the dark horse play of the day. Otherwise, let me just give you some thoughts on this stakes action at Churchill today. Again, it's a great stakes card. The Aristides will be race number 6 this afternoon for the sprinters. I'm not going to try to beat Skelly. Skelly is just another one of that potent, going back 4 or 5 years, potent string of sprinters that Steve Asmussen has had. This one continues that tradition with a couple of nice performances down at Oaklawn to start the season, both triple digits. So I couldn't get past that one. Skelly on top. World record may be a little bit interesting for Rudy Brissett in here. Flavian Prad on board, Giant Mischief. Irad Ortiz down at Churchill this afternoon with the Brad Cox runner. But again, seems tough to get by Skelly in the Aristides. The aforementioned Audubon put Tomasello on top. World Beater, I think, can be a real player for Riley Mott, coming off a nice maiden breaker. One of those that seemed to take a little time to kind of figure it out, and did last time. It's an ask to go from a maiden special into a stake, but I think World Beater could be a player in here. Early adopter goes out for Chad Brown. Just being a Chad Brown runner is interesting, but comes out of a Keeneland win. Scipio also playable, but again, Tomasello is interesting to me as the dark horse play in the 7th at Churchill. 1, 6, 8, and 3. The Audubon. The Shawnee is the 8th race today. We're looking at fillies and mares going 1.16 miles. I put Gin on top. A little bit of a price at 7-2 on the morning line. We'll see if that holds up. But the Brendan Walsh runner comes in off a stakes win at Keeneland. Jose Ortiz was on board that day, back on board again today. Royal Spa for Rudy Brissett. Coming in off a stakes win at Laurel. That's kind of interesting. Tried the Barbara Fritchie 2 back and ran second, but followed up with another Laurel Stakes and won that. Where's My Ring for Peter Miller? Had been down at Oaklawn in another barn, moves into the Peter Miller barn, and I think is a player on a best effort. And they won all 3 by her 2 starts back. Alpine Princess also interesting. Who's Your Filly is in here. I just have never really, once you got past the beginning of the career, didn't know what to do with her. She was kind of impressive early in the career, but people looked at the buyers and kind of, and then she kind of came back to earth a little bit, but she can still run well in any given situation. So Who's Your Filly, interesting also. But in the 8th at Churchill, the Shawnee, I'm 7, 3, 1, and 6. Churchill's 9th is the Arlington. Again, scheduled on the grass. We'll keep our fingers crossed that that holds up. 9, 8, 7, and 2 in the Audubon. Brilliant Birdie for Cherie DeVoe. Nice horse. This is a 4-year-old with 9 career starts and 6 wins, including the opening verse a little earlier in this Churchill meet. Now, Mercanti is a shorter price on the morning line and comes in off a close-up second. Derby weekend in a turf stake, a grade 1, the Turf Classic, and is dangerous. Also, Silent Heart, interesting player for me. Cameo Performance for Brendan Walsh. Another of the nice stakes on the card today down at Churchill in the Arlington Race 9, 9, 8, 7, and 2. I mentioned the Blame earlier, Hall of Fame on top for me, but going to be interesting. If the field stays intact, very interesting. But again, Most Wanted may be going in another direction as potentially vanishing. But in the Blame, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And wrapping up the stakes at Churchill today is the Regret. 3-year-old fillies on the grass, grade 3 event. 7, 8, 5, and 3. I'll put Lush Lips on top. Flavian Pratt on board for Brendan Walsh. And so horse started the career over in Europe, but since arriving in the United States has been fairly productive. And I think that can continue today. Fionn in the second slot for Brad Cox. Classic Q for Mark Cassie coming off a nice win earlier at the Churchill meet. So, again, another nice stakes field if these turf races hold up, and we'll hope that they do. The 11th at Churchill, 7, 8, 5, and 3. You can find the full card, the selections, over on the website with the one sheet. I looked at Churchill today in Gulfstream. Go to CapitalLTV.com, click on the handicapping link, and then handicapper support. The one sheet is available with selections for this afternoon. And Brian Nadeau also has selections on the sheet for Churchill Downs. All right, I'm going to wrap it up for this edition of Racing Across America as we kick it off. Belmont Stakes Week at Saratoga. Again, we're back in tomorrow with Racing Across America. We'll recap some of the stakes action and more. That'll be 10 a.m. tomorrow. Officially, we kick off on Wednesday. Wednesday, we'll kick off at 9 a.m. because we'll do handicapper support at 9 and then Racing Across America at 10. That'll be the game plan throughout the Belmont Stakes week. So mark that on your calendar starting Wednesday. Tomorrow, we kick off at 10, only Racing Across America. But Wednesday, 9 a.m. handicapper support, 10 a.m. Racing Across America. So as I say, mark that on the calendar. Thanks to Mike MacAdam and Laura Simiele for stopping by today. Don't forget, Tuesday is the Embrace the Belmont event downtown. Go to thsaratoga.org for ticket information. We'd love to see you down there to kind of kick off the Belmont week with a Tuesday night event. Oh, don't forget also, Wednesday night, there's a concert downtown. They did that last year. Put the stage right across Broadway. Last year was packed, Blues Traveler. This year it's Gin Blossoms. Wednesday. And Wednesday last year was a non-racing day. Last year, the Belmont week started on Thursday. This year there was racing, so come over, watch the races, and then head downtown for the concert. Don't forget to put that. Oh, and I had one other note that you should mark. If you come up on Wednesday, opening day, it's a New York showcase day. They're focusing on the New York breds all day on Wednesday. Last year they did that on Sunday. This year they kick it off. And those New York bred days are always a lot of fun. Familiar names and familiar matchups and some quality runners as well. So Wednesday will be a New York showcase day, but kind of as a bonus for that, first 10,000 folks, for 10,000 paid admissions, there's a free hat giveaway. Nice little I Love New York Reds baseball cap that, again, free with paid admission while supplies last on Wednesday up here at the track. So keep that in mind as well. All right, Seth Merrow, live from Saratoga, wrapping it up for a Saturday edition of Racing Across America. It's been fun. It's always fun to be up here at Saratoga. Thanks for tuning in. Back tomorrow, Racing Across America, 10 a.m., live from Saratoga. See you then.
Want to get your career in horse racing off to a fast start? Well, the University of Arizona's Racetrack Industry Program is your winning ticket. The Racetrack Industry Program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals, with a proven track record of job placement right out of college. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the Racetrack Industry Program can put you in the winner's circle.
Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Oops, my bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
You've been watching Racing Across America. Racing Across America has been brought to you by Pinnell's Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, Saratoga, just minutes from the track. And the Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue, Albany. When you can't make it to the track, make it to the Clubhouse Racebook.
Leopard. Jamie Spencer is on board as he was for the win last time out. And Arabian Leopard won at Newmarket over this 1,400 metres. Callan Nasser for Brian Ellison and Ashi Murphy just was last